Aloha everyone. So it's definitely an emotional time as we approach the 2-year anniversary of the devastating Lahaina Fire. And another fire scare in Kaanapali this week, plus a tsunami warning, certainly did not help. So as a fire survivor, I find myself reflecting on and remembering the traumatic events from the day of the fire and the weeks and months that followed. After all, it is important to acknowledge that this was the deadliest wildfire anywhere in the United States in over 100 years. The Lahaina Fire on August 8th of 2023 tragically claimed the lives of 102 people and forever changed the lives of thousands more. And just like many other people, we were fortunate to have escaped the fire just in time on that day. Wow, this is Lahaina right now. This is the middle of the day. Now, in the midst of all the chaos, we didn't know the full extent of the damage in Lahaina until days after the fire. And what we discovered was beyond devastating. A whole town that was loved by so many people was destroyed in the blink of an eye. More than 2,200 structures were lost, including homes, businesses, and historic buildings, with an estimated $5.5 billion in total damage. And on the anniversary of an event that's this traumatic, it's easy and understandable to only want to focus on what we lost. But in this video, I want to spend some time reflecting on how far we've come over the past 2 years. You see, I've been documenting our journey with consistent video updates showing Lahaina's recovery on this channel ever since the fire. So in this video, I'm going to discuss the key milestones reached in Lahaina's recovery by sharing highlights from some of my past videos. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you what Lahaina looks like now, 2 years after the fire, so you can see just how far we've come with your own eyes. Let's jump right into it. I recorded this video just over a month after the fire. Notice the fire-damaged boats that are still submerged in the Lahaina harbor. And in the center of the screen is the banyan tree. From this perspective, you don't see any green on the banyan tree at all. And I remember that experts were uncertain if the tree had any life in it at all. But if you've been watching my most recent videos, you already know that the tree is thriving once again. At the end of the video, I'll show you exactly what the banyan tree looks like now, 2 years after the fire. We're now flying right over the top of the commercial area on Front Street. And to give you an idea of just how large this fire was, the Lahaina burn zone spread through 2,170 acres, which is roughly 3.4 square miles. Now, the first 3 weeks after the fire were focused on search and recovery. The Maui Fire Department and ocean safety crews launched grid searches on land and in the harbor, while FEMA deployed urban search and rescue task forces. These teams effectively completed nearly all of the physical searches across the burn zone by late August of 2023. With search and recovery finished, the focus shifted to debris cleanup. So 21 days after the fire on August 29th, 2023, the EPA started phase 1 of the cleanup by focusing on hazardous materials like asbestos-based building materials that were used for historic buildings, pesticides, oils, aerosols, paints, and lithium-ion batteries that are used for household solar systems. Now, during this phase of the cleanup, we didn't see what looked like any progress from the air, and it took several months for them to finish the removal of the hazardous materials. You can see from this video that I recorded on December 1st of 2023 that none of the lots had been cleared of their ash and debris at this point. But in this video, we do see several work trucks that are parked along Front Street. And it looks like some of them are boom trucks from the electric company as they work on the power lines and restoring utilities. We're now looking up the hill into the Waihakuli neighborhood. And as you can see, it doesn't look like any progress was being made on the cleanup of ash and debris at this point. This is another clip from the same video that was recorded in the beginning of December of 2023. This time, we're flying into the Lahaina Luna neighborhood. Again, no signs of cleanup yet, but we do see more electric company trucks working in this area. It was on December 21st of 2023 that the EPA completed the removal of the hazardous materials in Lahaina. This was exactly 4 months and 13 days after the fire. It wasn't until the following year on January 5th of 2024 that phase 2 of the cleanup in the residential areas began. We're now looking at a clip from one of my videos that was recorded on January 19th, 2024, where you can see cleanup crews are getting started. It was the Army Corps of Engineers in collaboration with Maui County and local contractors that started this heavy lifting of removing all the ash and debris from Lahaina. More than 400,000 tons of ash and debris had to be removed, which is the equivalent of 5 football fields stacked 5 stories high. Now, one of the many controversies that we have endured so far in Lahaina's road to recovery was deciding where to move all this material, some of which was still considered hazardous. Original plans from the County of Maui was to permanently store the ash and debris in Oluwalu, which is just 8 miles south of Lahaina. This video was recorded on January 5th of 2024, which was the day that they started to transport the ash and debris. The site was chosen because of its close proximity to the disaster area, but after heavy pushback from the Oluwalu community, the decision was made to make Oluwalu's dump site temporary, and government officials promised to eventually relocate the materials to a location near the central Maui landfill. By the way, it is important to acknowledge that this promise is now being fulfilled with trucks currently transporting the debris from the temporary dump site to the permanent one at this time. So the county has kept their promise in this regard. The next major milestone was reached on May 15th of 2024, when 9 months and 7 days after the fire, the first building permit was issued to rebuild a home in Lahaina that was lost in the fire. This video was recorded on June 8th of 2024, and as you can see, cleanup crews had made a ton of progress with the clearing of ash and debris by this point. And then in July of 2024, which is less than a year after the fire, the first home actually began construction in Lahaina town. This video was shot in the Kahoma Homes neighborhood on July 3rd of 2024, and it gives you a really good perspective on one of the first homes under construction. By September of 2024, all of the fire-damaged boats were removed from Lahaina Harbor. In total, 141 boats were cleared from the harbor and the surrounding areas. And on October 11th, 2024, just 13 months and 3 days after the fire, the Army Corps of Engineers announced that they had completed 100% of the cleanup of ash and debris from the residential neighborhoods in Lahaina. This was several months earlier than originally anticipated, as the project was expected to take until the end of the year. The video clip that we're watching right now was recorded on October 19th, 2024, and it shows the staging area around the Pioneer Mill smokestack all cleaned up. This location was used as a staging area to break down large concrete and burnt vehicles. By the time the cleanup process was completed, 3,523 burnt vehicles were removed from Lahaina. This video also shows a good perspective of Lahaina Luna neighborhood, all cleared of ash and debris. And a huge milestone was achieved when the first home completed construction of its rebuild in Lahaina on November 22nd of 2024, just in time for the family to move in before the holidays. So the first home completed construction 1 year, 3 months, and 14 days after the fire. This video clip that I recorded in December of 2024 shows an area in Lahaina that has several homes that are nearing completion. November 2024 was also the month that the first families were able to move into a few of the FEMA-funded temporary housing site called Kilohana, which is located above the old Waihekuli neighborhood. This video clip showing Kilohana was actually recorded a few months later, but families were able to move into these new homes before the holidays. Speaking of the holidays, the Maria Lanakila Catholic Church, which was one of several religious and spiritual sites that survived the fire, was officially reopened in Lahaina just before Christmas on December 15th of 2024. As we moved into the new year of 2025, we saw dozens of new homes starting construction on the hillside. This video was recorded on February 10th, 2025, which was 1 year, 6 months, and 2 days after the fire. As you can see, we saw a lot of construction activity in the neighborhoods that were located further away from the ocean, like this video in the Waihekuli neighborhood, and this clip that was recorded over the Lahaina Luna and Kohoma Homes neighborhood. However, very few homes that were located on the ocean side of the Honoapi'ilani Highway had received permits to get started, as you can see from this clip that was recorded on the same day. This was due to an additional layer of permitting for a special management area. It was on February 4th, 2025 that it was announced that all the properties located on the ocean side of the highway and on the mountain side of Front Street would be exempt from that extra layer of permitting. This was another important milestone because until this point, we saw very little progress in construction in these areas. But this announcement did come with some controversy because the waterfront properties that are on the ocean side of Front Street were not given the same exemption, leading to speculation that some of the oceanfront properties that existed in Lahaina before the fire might not be allowed to rebuild at all. Later that month, on February 25th, 2025, the cleanup of ash and debris in the commercial areas was officially completed. This was 1 year, 6 months, and 17 days after the fire. And then, on March 20th, 2025, the Army Corps of Engineers began removing pilings in the ocean just off of Front Street, where oceanfront businesses once stood. You can see the crews are working on that project in this video clip that was recorded on April 9th of 2025. The piling removal project was completed just over a month later on April 24th. And just last month, on July 1st, Lahaina Shores, which is the only hotel zone condo in Lahaina town, officially reopened to occupancy, bringing some much needed life into the area. So that brings us to where we are today, 2 full years after the fire. This is what Lahaina looks like right now, and while we all wish that progress was moving faster, we should celebrate the fact that we have come so far. It's definitely not all rainbows and sunshine because there are still a lot of people that are struggling, but it's not all doom and gloom either. I'm going to share a couple clips of residential neighborhoods that show a lot of progress, starting in Waihekuli, and then we'll jump over to the Lahaina Luna neighborhood. Now, according to the Maui Recovery's website, there have now been 422 residential permits and 33 non-residential permits issued in all of Lahaina town. There are 270 homes that are currently under construction, and 46 homes have been fully completed. They've passed their final inspections and are now ready for families to move in. So I think this is really good progress, especially considering how devastating the fire was and how slowly recovery got started. But I really want to know what you think. Now that you've seen a recap of what has been done in Lahaina over the past 2 years, did you expect to see more or less progress? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. And also let me know how long you think it'll be before the town is substantially rebuilt. Now, one part of Lahaina that still has a ton of work to do is the commercial area on Front Street, which does not have any businesses that have started to rebuild yet. As you can see from this clip, they are currently working on the road and sidewalks in this area, and there have been several meetings with the community to discuss what changes will be made to this part of town. It sounds like they're planning to make Lahaina more walkable by potentially making Front Street pedestrian only, while also connecting several streets to enhance evacuation routes and improve public safety. But that's a topic that we'll discuss in more detail in future videos. So if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel to stay informed on Lahaina's recovery. At the beginning of the video, I promised to show you what the banyan tree looks like now, and here it is. The tree is looking nice and green and very healthy. Now, the Banyan Tree Park is still closed to the public, but I just read a news article that said they'll probably open it up again in a few months, when more of the branches stabilize and there aren't any safety issues. In fact, they've already reinstalled the park benches, which is a really good sign. And the Lahaina Restoration Foundation is actively working to save what remains of the historic buildings in town, like the old Lahaina courthouse, which is shown here right next to the banyan tree. And there's one more thing I'd like to show you. I'm going to end the video by taking you on a quick tour of one of my favorite beaches on all of Maui, Baby Beach in Lahaina. Now, if you made it this far, thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you appreciate the time and energy it takes to put these updates together, make sure to hit the like button and share this video with anyone you know who loves Lahaina and wants to see how far we've come 2 years after the fire. I hope to see you all in the next one. Aloha.